With no time to waste, as the sun was setting soon, we geared up at Fort Lauderdale by the sea and headed straight out into the ocean. We wanted to be in water well over our heads before we started the dive, so we snorkeled out into deeper water. That's probably why I didn't even notice the pier was partially collapsed, but the pier wasn't even part of our dive plan, so we weren't even thinking about it. But little did we know that was going to change very soon. The dive plan was to go out to the first reef and explore there, and then go further offshore and drift dive down the second reef, brush up against that first deep ocean ledge, and then make our way back, preferably on the south side of the pier. We were probably in about 15 feet of water when we left the surface and started our dive. We continued to swim offshore until the first reef faded into view. We were just getting over to the second reef when I realized we had a problem. Our dive flag was gone. I could tell by the tension in the line that the dive buoy had broken loose, so I signaled over to Amie for us to go to the surface. We quickly looked around on the surface, but with no dive flag in sight, we decided it was too dangerous to dive this far offshore without one. We decided to dive back down and, using our compass, head north-northwest towards the pier. There was a lot less boat traffic there, making it a much safer place to dive without a flag. We sank back down to safety, but with the imminent fear of a boat flying over our head any second, we stayed low and headed straight for the pier. As the pier faded into view, I was genuinely shocked to find it was collapsed. I wasn't aware at the time, but back in 2022, Hurricane Nicole caused severe damage to the pier, bringing large sections beneath the waves. There was a large debris field, with twisted metal and concrete scattered everywhere. Most of the debris was actually elevated off of the seafloor, creating a perfect artificial reef and habitat for fish. I was so caught up in exploring the collapse, I didn't even notice there were barracudas right above us. We swam up towards the surface for a better look, and sure enough, there was a school of over 20 great barracudas. We cautiously swam a little closer, but you have to be very careful around barracudas. They're viciously territorial and among the fastest fish on the reef. With their rows of needle-like teeth, they're definitely not a fish you want to mess with. Watching our backs, we sank back down into the sands and landed in a school of moonfish. We drifted along with the moonfish, and they led us straight to the nurse shark's lair. Unlike many other sharks, nurse sharks don't have to keep swimming to breathe because they can pump water over their gills. This ability allows them to lay on bottom, and you can easily find them sleeping in the shade of caves and crevices during the day. They have rows of razor-sharp teeth, just like any other shark, but they're not a major threat to humans since they only attack when threatened. Their teeth are angled inwards and set back in their mouth, so they have to use their powerful jaws to suck in fish and then they bite. But don't test your luck. The sharks were a little spooked and swam off, but I have a feeling they'll be back. As we made our way closer to shore, we came across two angelfish munching on some sea sponge. When they noticed us, they swam right up to me. Angelfish are known not to be scared of divers, but these two were especially curious. As we were playing with the angelfish, I caught a glimpse of a large sea creature approaching in the distance. It was a massive tarpon, 5 or 6 feet long. The video just doesn't do it justice. This thing was well bigger than me. After it swam past, we looked over at each other with the widest eyes. Heading inland, we discovered more large debris and began to see the thermocline, where different water temperature layers are visible. With about 900 psi left, we decided to double back and see if we could find the sharks. Quickly heading back, it seemed like all the fish were gone, but after a short distance, we saw that the moonfish had returned tenfold. Fortunately, the nurse shark was back as well. The nurse shark definitely wasn't excited to see us like we were it, because it was clearly just trying to take a nap in the shade of the collapse. Sorry, dude. While many other sharks are active during the day, nurse sharks are primarily nocturnal, coming to life at night to hunt. They mostly dig through the sand and use their powerful jaws to suck prey out of hiding spots and holes. They also eat small fish and even stingrays. Believe it or not, they actually eat sea urchins too, which I personally find fascinating. I don't know how anything could or would want to eat a spike-covered sea urchin, but that's just another snack on the nurse shark's menu.